All right, we're in it. We can sit here and bullshit for a second while the people file in.
Yeah.
Live again on the left turn. Let me turn your volume up a little bit because I cannot hear you that way.
Am I quiet?
All right, I got you now. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I was just the volume down on here.
Okay.
I'm going to tweet these links out. Well, we got 2 people filed in already.
Let me tweet them.
Yeah, I'm doing this on a computer for once. So it's a little easier for me to put these tweets out and talk about the games and stuff. I can just pull the scores up right on my phone.
Nice.
Get these links tweeted out. I know you're happy. Purdue absolutely demolished shit tonight. I put Purdue in the title here because they had two interesting games this week. So
it was a wild week for us.
Wild. Also putting the title here, Wild Wednesday in the SEC. That'll definitely be one of that was insane. Let's see, 9 people filed in. I haven't even tweeted the link out yet. We're cooking.
Popular.
All right, put this link in here. And Spectator, Media, YouTube.
Okay,
I figured doing this tonight. I was saying, I figured while we're doing this tonight, another subject we can discuss tonight that we haven't talked about yet is why not a little bit of Coach of the Year talk. Who we got there? Some names to throw around, dudes who deserve credit. I've seen those discussions start heating up, so definitely not a ton of big games to discuss this week, but we'll definitely fill it out with that kind of stuff. And then live here in Auburn right now because we got one of the games of the year tomorrow with College Day in town. We'll take on Tennessee tomorrow night, so that's going to be a big one. We'll be at game day and at the game tomorrow morning, and then at the game tomorrow. So excited about that. But let me grab my cup of water real quick. And then when William Luke returns, we can get it going. Oh, he's getting props. This will be fun. All right. Let me look at the slate this week. Figure out where we're going to start it. I don't think Monday.
There's a couple Big Ten games, I think, because there's Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Where did you get that?
We won it, and I was there as a student.
Oh, that looks like the one they put. There we go. It's not. Yeah, there we go.
And it's autographed.
Oh, hell yeah.
Flex.
Let's go.
I tried to find something else, but this will hold up. This is something around here.
All right, yeah, Monday. We'll do that one first. None of these games to dive too deep into, but just of note, Georgetown beat Villanova. A little bit of an upset there on the road for them. And then Penn State took out Rutgers. Another disappointing. Shout out Noah. Feffy Poo. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to dive into any of those Monday. We'll save this for the good stuff. But, all right, Tuesday. We'll start with Tuesday. I guess the first game to discuss there, biggest one early in the night, was Tennessee, 68, Mississippi State, 56. Big bounce-back game for Tennessee after that loss to Vanderbilt on Saturday. And tough loss for Mississippi State as well, coming off that heartbreaker in the Egg Bowl on Saturday. Sure, they wanted to come back with a little bit of a better performance against Mississippi State. But Tennessee got the win, kind of stopped their skid a little bit. Chaz Lanier had a great bounce-back game. He's been sliding a little bit, but he had 23 on Tuesday in that one. So we'll start there. Tennessee, Mississippi State. What you got on that one?
I'd say, Tennessee played pretty all right. They played all right. Mississippi State just had another stinker of a game. They kind of played – they didn't shoot too bad from three, but, they just kind of played – didn't shoot great overall from the field. They kind of played like they did against Auburn, just kind of not playing up to how they played some games. Like they played good against Kentucky and played good against Ole Miss last Saturday in the rivalry game and the Egg Bowl. Just kind of a bounce back game for Tennessee at home. And not much else to say about that game.
Yeah, it's just like it's another testament to how loaded the SEC is this year.
Mhm.
I guess we're like nobody's gonna sit here and say like Mississippi State's a bad team by any means or anything, but they're in a little bit of a slide right now. It's 3 straight losses for them now, and they're definitely a team tomorrow. Like they need a win bad, and I'm sure they're gonna come out swinging tomorrow because they're in a skid, but. It's how tough the SEC is, and they're going to go to South Carolina tomorrow, where we've seen them be scrappy with good teams in the SEC, especially at home, and they're dying for a win too. So definitely some a little bit, but yeah, I mean it goes to show the like I know we say it every episode, and every college basketball podcast you listen to is going to say the same thing: the strength of the SEC this year. But when you have a team like Mississippi State, that's a good team, a clear-cut tournament team, and they've dropped 3 games in a row, it shows like it's tough to win on a nightly basis in this league. And Tennessee, their defense continues to be strong. They really locked up in that game. Hubbard struggled. Like I think, I'm looking now 5 for 16 from the field. Not a great night for Mississippi State, and Tennessee at home drug Mississippi State into their style game, and it's going to be hard to beat Tennessee when their defense is on and then they're playing their style of basketball that we know they want to drag everybody into. You got anything on that game?
Tennessee, Mississippi State?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Those are both 2 of the top teams in the SEC, I feel like. And it's just one of those things, like you said, it's so hard to win consistently in the SEC because everybody's, like, at least pretty good. Like, you got to bring your A game every night or you're going to get punched in the mouth, no matter who you play.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for example, when just a bit like twist a little bit, show how good the SEC is. When Auburn went on the road to South Carolina, that team was 0-3 in conference play, and we almost lost.
Yeah.
Like, that shows the depth of, like, this conference overall and how good it is and how it's the top conference in America.
Yeah, I mean, and you saw Florida go there on Wednesday. Like, we'll get to that game. Like, same thing happened. And, we'll get to Wednesday. That was what I put as the lead here because that was insane what went down Wednesday in the SEC. But, so that's the first game we had. Also early in the night, just of note, and then we'll get to the one I know you want to get to. But Iowa State took care of business against UCF 108-83. Alabama beat Vanderbilt 103-87. And Marquette beat Seton Hall 76-89. Nothing to really note in those games unless you guys wanted to hit on anything in those 3. But just 3 results to real quick.
I was going to say, Vanderbilt had a letdown after beating Tennessee. Alabama, they didn't get their score. I mean, of course, they got the scoring from Mark Sears, but some of their bench players scored quite a bit against Vanderbilt. Diabate and what's his name, Aiden Holloway, both scored 22 off the bench. But
I guess the main story of Alabama coming out of that game, like something to touch on, is like you still wonder about their defense, like, and especially if they get drug into a style of basketball they don't want to play, because Vanderbilt's a team that's going to try to play fast and score with them, and obviously that's like on the road, especially there. That's going to be a bad matchup for them. But I mean, they're 16th in the SEC right now in defense, and they gave up 56 points in the second half against Vanderbilt. Like, Alabama's really like they're not like stepping on teams' throats and putting them away. And it's like I don't know if they have a defensive capability to do that. And it's like when you give up 56 points in the second half against Vanderbilt, it's like we keep saying with them, it's beating a dead horse. I think I've said that every show we've been on here as far, but it's like there's teams that aren't going to let you do that. I mean, I'll look while I'm talking, like the Field of 68 bracket that came out earlier today. Just this is what we talk about. Where if I gotta find the picture, but if they get a draw like this, here we go. So Alabama's they're projected as a 1 seed right now. Field of 68 the projected bracket today. The 8-9 game in the second round is St. Mary's UCLA. And then the pod below that, who they would play in the Sweet 16 if they get past those teams, Purdue's the 4, Mississippi State's the 5. Then you go to the bottom of the bracket. Iowa State's the 2. San Diego State's down there too. Like that region, like if that was to come to fruition, is a nightmare draw for Alabama. Especially you get to the second round and they're playing UCLA or St. Mary's, like that. Those are two teams that'll drag you into the fucking mud. And so if they don't bring their A game against that, like those are two teams that aren't going to let you shoot 53 pointers against them. Like they're going to slow the game down and run you off the 3-point line. Same with Purdue, who was their Sweet 16 draw. So it gets something to note for them. Where like they're really, to me, and we said it last year and they did it, but they also had a good draw in March last year. And it's like if they get a bad draw in March and have to play teams like UCLA, St. Mary's, Purdue, Mississippi State, Iowa State, like those are teams that are going to grind you out.
We already saw what happened when Purdue played Alabama earlier this year. They just shut down Mark Sears, and Alabama's defense didn't have an answer for our freshman guard, CJ Cox. I mean, it's like
you saw the same thing when Alabama played Ole Miss. Like Ole Miss drug them into the mud and slowed them down, ran them off the 3-point line, and Alabama couldn't keep up with them. They laid an egg in that game. So they keep scoring 100 points a game. Definitely very impressive, but at some point we're going to need to see, something defensively there. Let's see. Also Tuesday, UConn. Oh yeah, UConn Butler. I guess that's the next one we'll get to. That was that's a wild one. UConn really let Butler back in the game in the second half. Butler took it to OT. UConn was able to hold on, get the win, but that was a wild game. UConn continues to look shaky,
mediocre. They're being carried by solo ball right now, I'd say, at least offensively.
Yeah, I mean,
they against Butler, they had like a 10-point lead with like 3 or 4 minutes left, and somehow they blew that. And
there were a lot of interesting games like that this week where teams really got back.
I checked the score. I was like, I was watching it kind of in halftime of the Purdue game, I think, and they kind of got back into the game, Butler got back into the game. I checked the score and I was like, dang, this is going to overtime. It was just a weird seeing that Butler might be the worst team in the Big East this year.
Okay. Okay. You're letting your Blue Demons off the hook again. But other than that, I digress. Nothing.
Yeah,
no defense for your Blue Demons.
What? They're not mine. I just think they're
they
have talent on the team. I think they're a better team than Butler is.
I don't think I agree with that. All right. You got anything UConn Butler?
Y'all nailed it.
All right. All right. I'm sure you're dying to talk about this one. I guess tonight makes it a little easier to talk about it. But Ohio State 73, Purdue 70. That was, to me, what was more the story of that game and kind of what happened to Purdue for me is it goes back to what we've heard a lot about this year, and it's the scheduling in the Big Ten, where they came back from Oregon, went out west, got a big win on the road, and then 3 days later have to turn around and come back to Indiana and host Ohio State, a good Ohio State team. And they just kind of got caught sleeping off that road trip, I feel like. And it's, to me, that's more a testament to the wild, weird scheduling dynamics that football fucked up for the Big Ten this year. And I don't know how they're going to fix that, what it's going to be, but I mean, if you're looking for an excuse as a Purdue fan, like I think that's a pretty valid one.
It was 2 days after a flight back from Oregon. We really should have won that game, honestly. What killed us is just our lack of 3-point shooting. Braden Smith didn't have a great game, and Ohio State just got other. The first half they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. The second half they hit like fadeaway threes at the end of the shot clock, and that's kind of what killed us. Like low percentage shot, every single one of like Ohio State's low percentage shots went in.
I mean, Micah Parrish was out of his mind in that second half.
They just threw crap up and it'd go in. Like it was an out of ordinary game for both Purdue and Ohio State. Because you've seen Purdue score like 104 against Nebraska, 91 tonight against Michigan. Like that's not how they usually flow offensively. Just kind of a all-around bad night. Well, not all-around bad night. Trey Kaufman-Wren had a pretty good game, 26 points and 7 rebounds. Let me check the stat. Let me look at the stats. 26.7 rebounds. Fletcher Lawyer ended up having 15 points, but yeah, just not a great shooting night for Purdue. I only made 3 threes, and Ohio State made 11. That was the difference right there.
Ohio State needed that one bad too.
Mm-hmm.
Like they needed another big resume building win because Ohio State's kind of got a weird tournament resume right now, and that's why they're hanging on in the bubble. Most places you look, especially that Purdue game, put them back on the right side of the bubble. But they're 11-8 right now, but they have a lot. Like they have quite a few big wins that are going to carry them through this year. So that was another one to add to the list. And if you're a team with Ohio State with the losses they've stacked up, not all of them bad losses. Like they've lost to some good teams, but they've stacked up a lot of losses, and like they're sitting 11-8 right now on the right side of the bubble, and that's a testament to them and the big wins they've gotten when they've needed them, and that like being able to hold on and stuff. So like they'll be an interesting team to follow as the year goes on. But yeah, they needed that one in Purdue bad to get back in the green, I guess, as far as the tournament goes. Most brackets I've looked at this week have had them clinging to a spot in the field, and I'm sure that's the win that put them over.
Yeah, they're fighting for their tournament lives right now. It's just one of those scenarios where they had to win, get a good big road win, and move on. Ohio State, they kind of almost try to lull you into a false sense of security. That's kind of like as a team, that's their like style of play. Kind of take the game down to a halt, like slow the game down, and just start heating up from 3 in the second half or heating up from behind the arc. Just kind of catching fire at the right time is kind of their style of play.
Yeah, I mean,
makes sense.
If we're talking like performance of the week, like that second half by Micah Parrish has to be up there because he was just, like you said, he was just hitting everything.
It was kind of a repeat of the game we got upset last year at Ohio State, like where Purdue came out. They played a solid first half and then just fell asleep in the second half. Like couldn't do anything right, So I don't know what it is about Ohio State's coach. What's his name? I'm forgetting his name right now. I'm blanking on it.
Diebler?
I don't know what it is against Purdue, but for some reason he has an ace in his sleeve against us so far in his coaching career.
Yep. So that was a tough one for Purdue, and yeah, we had a few weird results in the Big Ten this week. But you got anything on that one? Or?
Nah, y'all killed it.
Hell yeah. So Oregon took care of business against Washington. Not much to talk about there. 82-71. UCLA got a big win against Wisconsin to keep it on the Big Ten. They were at home, got an 85-83 win out in Westwood against Wisconsin. They were down a lot of this game and made a comeback. What stuck out to me there, and what's kind of stuck out to me is how much UCLA's improved offensively lately. That like they're showing that UCLA that they're more than just a team that's gonna grind you out and win a fucking mud fight. Like they really have shown up on offense, and I mean they had I had to pull up to get the names right, but Mara, their center, came out. He came off the bench, played 21 minutes, went 7 for 7 from the field with 22 points. He killed it. They big win for UCLA. They needed that one. They're another team where they can't take too many more bad losses, and they'll start getting close to the bubble too. So they needed a good win at home here to stay in the good graces, I guess, in Wisconsin. They've been on fire lately, and it was they came out in the first half and it looked like it was going to be their game, and UCLA was able to hold on and get the job done there. So as far as I know, did we get any good press conference comments this week?
I'm not sure if he did, but that's a big win for UCLA. It's kind of an upset win, honestly, because Wisconsin, they've been playing pretty good. Their guard duo of John Blackwell and John Tanji, they balled out. Wisconsin as a team made 15 threes on the game. So that's an impressive win when UCLA didn't shoot all that great outside of Ade Mera, who had 22 points. Did he make any threes? UCLA only shot 31% from three-point land. They made 6 for 19. So to get a win with not great shooting performance from behind the arc, that's a big win. I didn't watch much of this. I kind of saw the highlights afterwards. Just a big win for UCLA after their sort of slow start to Big Ten play.
Yeah, they needed that one bad, and good win for them. I guess they don't have to see the Statue of Liberty anymore this year, so they might be good now. We'll move on. You don't got anything to add on that one, do you?
I'm waiting for my top of the shot.
All right. Texas got a big win against Missouri at home. Terrible game. Awful. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
But Texas got a 61-53 win against Missouri. Missouri, another one. They snuck into the top 25 this week, and I guess will presumably fall out after going on the – that was just fucking awful game. Not a lot to say there, but other than if Texas wants to stay in the mix and be a turn – they're not in right now, but like they're sliding, and they needed a big win to boost their resume to try to stay on the bubble. So they're still in the mix for now. They got that win against Missouri. They got a win on the road in Oklahoma last week. So, but yeah, that was a fucking awful game. Kaluma was the leading scorer. He had 14 points, went 4 for 10 from the field. Goes to show you what kind of game that was. But that was a brutal watch.
Typical Texas basketball the past few years.
What a surprising one was West Virginia went down at home 65-57 to Arizona State, coming off that huge win against Iowa State. Still at home. Like, I guess it's kind of a prime letdown spot when you come off a win that big. But that was one of the more surprising results. Arizona State, another team on the bubble. They go and get a big win on the road. That's going to look good come March. That'll help them with the resume a lot. So big win for Bobby Hurley and his bunch.
Yeah, that's a big. West Virginia's kind of like in a weird phase right now. They're still building their program up. So, I mean, they're liable to get big wins and lose to games they shouldn't right now. So,
When's Tucker DeVries coming back?
I have no clue.
That dude's been out for a long time now. I haven't heard anything about when he's returning. And I mean, they've been holding it up without him. But you have to imagine if he comes back, they're going to improve a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see.
He was the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year last year. I think the last 2 years, actually.
Yeah. Continuing on Tuesday, Louisville, and we're talking about our later, if we got time, we'll talk about like Coach of the Year favorites and stuff like that. Just shout out to Pat Kelsey and how quick he's turned that program around. They go on the road and kick the shit out of SMU, 98-73. Louisville's been on a roll, and it's pretty much Louisville's schedule in the ACC from here, like, it's pretty smooth sailing the rest of the way, and that's like big turnaround for Pat Kelsey and what he's been able to do there. Renee Smith, he made 10 3-pointers against SMU, had 30 points all from the 3-point line. He was great. Yeah, Louisville is on fire right now, an SMU team that I guess they were kind of beneficiaries of a soft schedule going into this one, and people were wondering if they were actually any good or not, and it did not appear based off what we saw Tuesday that was the case for Louisville.
Keep in mind, Louisville's doing this without one of their top transfers. I believe it was Kassan Pryor got hurt at the beginning of the year and is out for the rest of the season. So they're kind of shorthanded, just kind of playing, just keeping themselves in game. Really great coaching job by Pat Kelsey at Louisville.
Yeah, he has to be on the short list for Coach of the Year. That's what he's doing. The turnaround and how quick he's done it there is awesome. And they have a strong case to be third best team in the ACC right now. Like, I guess they're the only other ranked team, so you would have to say they're second right now. But yeah, there's incredible turnaround there. How quickly he's put it together. That's 9 wins in a row for them. So shout out to Pat Kelsey, Louisville on that win. Texas Tech got an 81-70 win on the road at 81-71 win on the road at Cincinnati. Texas Tech, a team with kind of like a weird resume where they don't have a lot of big wins right now, but as long as they're taking care of business and winning the games they're supposed to, they should be fine. And this was a big one on the road where Cincinnati's also going to be a team on that bubble, but I mean, a road win there, that's going to age pretty well for them. So, continuing through the night, let's see. What do we talk about next? All right, I think the only other game of note that night is Wake Forest 67, North Carolina 66. Another one, rough game. I also had to sweat out Wake Forest in that one. I bet on them that night at home. But, yeah, I guess we'll talk about North Carolina a little bit again because I put Heels bubble bursting in the title. Yeah, man, it's just not good. They're running out of opportunities. There's not a lot of them in a weak ACC, and they had a chance to go and get a big road win here. They couldn't get it done. Back and forth game the whole way pretty much. They were leading at halftime. And, I mean, Wake Forest couldn't get a three in to save their lives. And they started shooting it well late in the game. But, yeah, big win for Wake Forest. They needed that one bad.
I think
we're mentioning bubble teams a lot tonight because it's starting to heat up, and they're another team that, like, in that mix that was a huge win for them at home to solidify their resume. That they'll carry that one with them all year.
I think this is the year Steve Forbes finally makes the NCAA tournament at Wake Forest. I know they've had some bad luck the past couple years trying to get there. They've kind of been on that bubble and just had stuff not go their way the past 2 or 3 years as far as making the NCAA tournament. But with this UNC win, and they have a couple more chances coming up to solidify their resume. Of course, playing Duke at home this weekend, and then Louisville next Tuesday. Wake Forest, I think they'll be on their game if they can grind out a game like this where they're not shooting the ball well against a UNC team that isn't good, but still has good talent on there. But
by the way, Wake Forest went 2 of 15 from 3.
Yeah.
One. I had to pull up the box score to get the exact number.
When you win like that, you make yourself stand out and solidify your case.
Hunter Salas did not have a good game either.
Mm-hmm.
He was like
a lot of it was what's his name, Trevon Spillers and Cameron Hildreth.
Yeah, Hildreth was great. He hit a lot of big shots late in that one.
Mm-hmm. Scored a lot.
Yeah, North Carolina, man. North Carolina continues to tumble, and like I said last week to Matt when we were talking about can they make the tournament. Well, they're running out of resume building opportunities. Other than Duke twice, they go to Clemson, and yeah, that's pretty much all Duke has left, or North Carolina has left, is the 2 games against Duke and Clemson for their resume. So, they're really going to need to get on a roll and kick the shit out of these teams they're supposed to beat if they want to make the tournament because, the wins just aren't there right now. They're reading earlier, they're 1-9 in quad 1 right now. UCLA is the only quad 1 win for them. So, yeah, they're really running out of time. And I don't know, man. Will Luke asked me earlier, if they miss the tournament, are we looking at Hubert Davis's job? Is he doing enough on the recruiting trail to hold on to that for now? That's going to be an interesting question.
I don't think he gets fired this season, but if he has another bad year next year, he'll be either axed or just resign outright. Be a mutual part of ways just to preserve his image at UNC. Because I know that happens sometimes when, sort of players that go to their alma mater and then they don't pan out. They kind of just agree to part ways.
Yeah.
If things aren't working out.
Mutually agree to get fired.
Yeah.
All right. On Wednesday, first game of the night was Houston beat the living shit out of Utah. 70-36 was the final there. Just an absolute thrashing at the hands of Houston. And now that sets up for a huge showdown in the Big 12 tomorrow with Houston and Kansas. But, yeah, obviously Houston was a huge favorite there. They were supposed to win, but just that was brutal. Yeah, Utah's leading scorer had 8 points. That's a rough game. Yeah, that was I guess not much to talk about there really, but they beat the living shit.
Yeah, that was a surprising score. I was looking down at my phone, just checking the scores of the games while I was at the ETSU Western Carolina game. That was just a weird score all around.
Yeah, it was early in Houston. It was prime for a thrashing spot. Story of Wednesday, though, and I put it as the lead on the title for the show here. So we had 3 games, and this will show you how crazy Wednesday was in the SEC. This is from Peter Burns from ESPN, and he's on SEC Network. Georgia, Ole Miss, and South Carolina led for 119 minutes and 14 seconds of 120 minutes of game time tonight between those or Wednesday night between those 3 games. So they led for 119 minutes, 14 seconds of 120 minutes between those 3 teams, and they went a combined 0-3 on the night. That
Absolutely
is
ridiculous.
insane.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of go out of order, I guess, because since I brought that up, we'll talk about those 3 games. But the first one of those 3 was Florida, South Carolina. Absolute heartbreaker for the Gamecocks. You have to feel for them, man. That was a tough one. And I mean, they just gave it away, man. That was, Florida didn't get their first lead till 5 seconds left. And, that was a tough one. Big win for the Gators. I shouldn't say big win, but like big comeback. Like they avoided a tough loss there for sure. I don't know if you saw the layup Will Richard made to win that one, but like left-handed.
I didn't see the end of it. I heard you talking, all you texting about it in our group text we have. But that's just a heartbreaking loss for South Carolina. They've had 2. They had Auburn on the ropes and they had Florida on the ropes, and they come away with no wins, upsets. So they've got to get some wins here soon, or their season's on the line.
Dude, we're talking SEC. But did that layup Will Richard hit to win that game against South Carolina? Did you see that left-handed layup? I wish I knew. I wish I was smart enough to know how to put the shit up on the screen. I'll figure stuff out as we go.
Let me see. I can.
Yeah. Yeah, put it up on there. Put the layup Will Richard hit to win that.
I heard about it.
Not an easy shot.
I didn't get a chance to see it yet. So I want to see it.
South Carolina defended that about as well as you could. And that's why I was just such a heartbreaking.
You're talking about Florida over South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me find it.
I told you earlier tonight before when we were headed back from Eaton, I was like, yeah, dude, South Carolina was plus 11. I was like, that's a lot of points.
Yeah.
Like to be a home dog.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they are again tomorrow
against
Mississippi State.
Ooh. See, I think Mississippi State's a pretty solid team.
Let me see what that line is while he's pulling up the play.
But South Carolina's kept it close with they kept it close with us. They kept it close with Florida, who I think Florida's a pretty solid SEC team.
Yeah. That's why I feel terrible for them, because it's like the way they've played in all these games and coming up short. It's
like you can tell they're a pretty good team. Like they're in that mix. Like they're not bad enough to get blown out, but they're not going to beat the really good teams. You know?
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Of the SEC.
Says a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. While he's doing that, let me get that line for tomorrow.
We won Iowa Penn State. It was 1 point game.
I have it pulled up. Let me find.
Jacob, did you see who won Iowa Penn State?
I did not.
I'm looking right
I've not yet. Is Penn State ahead?
Iowa won by 1.
1.
It was 76-75.
Did your over hit?
The under didn't either. I'm terrible.
I have
both. Would you have the under in?
Yeah.
Oh, Michigan, Purdue?
Yeah. I just need to go 5-0 tomorrow. No big deal.
Did you pull up the shot yet, Jacob?
I have it pulled up.
Okay.
I'm going to hit play.
Mississippi State's a 6.5 point favorite at South Carolina tomorrow.
So that's a lot of points.
Maybe one to put in the bucket for your picks.
Yeah, I might want to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you got hip to the college basketball app?
Yeah, it's clutch, dude.
Dude, found the app.
Did you tell him about it?
I don't know if I told you about it, Jacob, but it's literally, the app is literally just called college basketball, and it's not like ES. Here, I'll add this stage so we can see this. Go ahead, play it.
Okay, I'll play it. Let me see. Right here's the layup.
I mean, they defended this well, and left-handed.
That's just
a wild shot. Yeah.
So you got to feel for South Carolina.
Yeah.
They led most of the game against us, and then we came back at the 5-minute mark?
Yeah.
Something like that. So that was the game Janai got hurt.
Yeah.
I was convinced we were going to lose.
They were shutting Janai down, too, before he got hurt. That was the first time we'd really seen Janai struggle this year.
Yeah, and, I was convinced we were going to lose that game.
Yeah.
Just how we were playing, but we squeaked it out at the end, dude, but it was close.
Yeah, so did Florida. That was Yeah, just goes to like that was their first lead of the game, 5 seconds left.
And I hate it for them, but like it also shows the depth of the SEC. Like I know I keep saying that, but like I don't think people like understand this is an insanely good conference. Like how deep it is. Like it might set the record for like most teams that get in the tournament.
I mean, they have a good shot to get 12 teams right now.
Yeah, I'd say
what
so.
they're eyeing. Like
I saw like I looked at the conference records like earlier this month, and it was like something crazy. Like all the teams were above 500, and like all of them had like more. It was like more than 500. It was like close to 600 winning percentage for all the teams.
All right, next game to talk about was Texas A&M 63, Ole Miss 62.
Mm-hmm.
As crazy as the comeback was in South Carolina, Florida, we just talked about, this one might have been even crazier because I'm looking it up to make sure I don't talk out my ass. But so A&M was down 6 with a minute left to play in this game. Won the game, like
won it outright.
Wild comeback there. Maybe the corniest shit ever. Like I said to you guys in the group chat, was Ole Miss with all their students in the SEC shirts.
Oh, I remember you telling me, but I didn't see that though.
Yeah, they gave all their students SEC shirts.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, they led by 4 with 27 seconds left, and then. Yeah,
that's brutal.
Missed a, so A&M went down by 2, fouled. Ole Miss missed a free throw, and Phelps got it, went down, hit a 3, and then Ole Miss couldn't convert and win the game. So huge win for A&M. Yeah, that was a heartbreaker for Ole Miss at home. Dominated that game. I got the stat for that also from Peter Burns. A&M took their first lead, which was on 3, that won the game. They took their first lead in that one with 14 seconds left.
That's crazy.
Insane. So big win for Buzz Williams and A&M, and yeah, that's a disappointing one at home for Ole Miss.
A&M plays a very similar style to Ole Miss. Ole Miss has more offense than A&M. A&M kind of is more of a grind out team sort of team.
Well, it's always how Buzz Williams is going to play, and then it was multiplied in this game because Wade Taylor played awful in this game.
Yeah.
Phelps was the savior in this game because Wade Taylor was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Like probably, I mean, he just came back, so like there's a little bit of rust there, but yeah, he looked bad in this game. And I mean, like that's 2 teams that are like they both of those teams love to play slow and grind you out. Obviously, Chris Beard and Buzz Williams, and like yeah, that's tough loss for Ole Miss for sure.
It really is.
Must suck losing in conference play. Can't relate.
And then yeah, good call. Only undefeated team left in the SEC.
Shout out.
And then yeah, I guess we'll skip around like time wise, but the other SEC game that was part of that, Arkansas took their first lead over Georgia with 30 seconds left in that game, and Cal finally gets his first SEC win at Arkansas. They were able to stop the skid and beat Georgia, and that was a huge comeback in that game. I think Georgia led by as many as 17 in that one, and yeah, Arkansas didn't take their first lead until 30 seconds left. Questionable foul on the play that won the game that sent Jonas Adu to the line. Wasn't a great call. I don't know if you happen to see it, but
I don't think I did.
Yeah, questionable call, but they called a foul on Jonas or against Georgia on Jonas Adu with like a second left on the clock. Game was tied, and he made the first free throw, missed the second. And then this was the craziest. Like, so we both bet opposite sides in that one. Me and him, like we both had pick 'em, so this didn't affect our bet.
Yeah.
the line closed at Arkansas -2.5. So that Adu hit the first free throw, put him up by 1. He missed the second, and then he got the board on the miss. And they all he had to do was hold it, and they would have won regardless. But he just lays it in anyway.
Yeah.
So they win by 3, and that covered the spread.
It's one of the worst beats of all time.
Yeah.
Bad beat.
So bad.
There's been a few of those this year.
There's been a couple this week because I was thinking about another one. Like I had Wake Forest pick 'em against North Carolina, but that one closed at Wake Forest -1.5, and North Carolina was down 4 and hit a 3 that meant nothing at the buzzer.
A meaningless 3.
Yeah.
I was watching that game and I was like, oh man, like North Carolina's kind of coming back right now.
Yeah, I was glad I had both of those I just mentioned as pick'ems.
You texted us immediately like, dude, if I had the -1, I would have crashed out right there.
I would have, yeah.
I don't blame you.
I mean, same with the Arkansas Georgia. If you had Georgia +2.5,
well, I had Georgia pick 'em for us.
Yeah.
So you can imagine my frustration when I see they're up pretty big and I walk away and I come back and I'm like, wait, they lost.
Yeah, but for anybody who had +2.5, like if we had pick 'em, the 2.5 would have been even because
that's even worse.
Yeah,
I agree.
Adu, because he missed that second free throw, like he held it, they win the game. Yeah, and he just gets it and just puts it in.
Sure, there's meaningless buckets all the time, like the UNC one. There was no reason for that 3, but there, like he just grabs the ball. It's game. Like there's no reason to lay. Like it's not like they were losing. Like it's not like he shot a free throw, right? And then he missed the second one intentionally to put them up. Like there was no rhyme or reason to do that. He just put it in for the hell of it.
Yeah, like, you can't tell me these players aren't aware of the point spread.
Conscious, I want to look good. Let's cover or something.
Wasn't there some player getting accused of throwing the spread or getting
Eastern Michigan?
Oh yeah.
That's always nuts to me when players do that. That's insane. Like you're risking everything, bro. Like your scholarship, all your basketball dreams, so you can sports bet and win. That's so dumb. That's so dumb.
I don't know what the whole deal with Eastern Michigan was.
That
I haven't heard anything more about. Yeah, Porter.
Yeah.
I've gotten alerts about suspicious betting activity. A lot of it is in college baseball and stuff.
Alabama. Alabama had a coach get fired.
Yeah. There's one in Central Michigan or somewhere like that. Betting activity.
He did nothing wrong.
That's my buddy Noah, by the way.
What's up, Noah?
What's up, man?
Thanks for tuning in, brother.
Shout out Noah.
St. John 79, Xavier 70. Before we move on from that, I mentioned all 3 of those SEC games like that. Like I said, I'll read that Peter Burns stat that he tweeted off one more time. I can't ever remember. Georgia, Ole Miss, South Carolina led for 119 minutes and 14 seconds of 120 minutes of game time and went 0-3 combined.
Mm-hmm.
That's just nuts.
Insane.
As much as we've hyped up the SEC this whole show, that's bad basketball.
Yeah.
Just blowing those leads like that, that's just – you can't defend that. That's bad. That's egregious. Whatever, man. That's dumb. I'm still salty about the Georgia pick.
I'm glad I was on Arkansas on that one.
And the only reason you were on that is because I faded you with the other 2.
That's the reason I put it for our thing. I did have Arkansas on my list, though.
Yeah.
I was like, Cal's got to end the slide eventually.
See, that's why
Cal was fucking – you could see the relief on his face after that game.
Just to get one.
It's just cheesing, could not – we just needed to win a game. Dude, he was that was as good as an NCAA tournament win for them.
Yeah, they needed that.
And the other thing, before I move on about Arkansas, is just because even though they won, John L. Davis is terrible, dude. What the hell happened to that guy?
I don't know what's going on.
Awful.
He must be just giving up. I
just how do you go from 2 years ago, a guy who leads a mid-major, to a Final Four? You're the leading player on that team, and now it looks like you've never played basketball in your life.
I just don't get it either.
John L. Davis has been horrendous there.
Because I know he got rejected from a couple schools just for academic reasons. Michigan being one. I think there's another school that got rejected him too before he ended up at Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he got rejected from, but
there's a couple schools that his academics didn't check out.
Another wild game with a feature and a blown lead, comeback, all that. Surprising cover was St. John's 79, Xavier 71. We're mentioning spreads, covers, all that. Anytime you're a 7.5 point favorite and you go to overtime and cover the spread, that's impressive. They won by 8, so they covered that number. So good for Rick Pitino's bunch, but that was a tough loss for Xavier because they're a team that's kind of turned it around a little bit, been playing better, had some momentum. They got the big win on the road at Marquette. So that would have been a huge win for Xavier if they go from winning on the road at Marquette, then go on in the Garden and beat St. John's. And they were up 15 in the second half. Like, they had it pretty well covered, but St. John's just kept fighting back, and Xavier couldn't put them away. And then in that overtime, Xavier was terrible. So big win for St. John's and Rick Pitino. I mean, I picked them to go to the Final Four. It's kind of like my sleeper Final Four run team before the year. And, they just keep winning. I mean, they have 3 losses right now. And let me make sure I get – so their 3 losses. They lost in double overtime to Baylor by 1 on opening night. They lost to Georgia by 3. And then they lost to Creighton by 1 on the road. So that's 3 losses by a combined 5 points for St. John's. So, you change a couple plays here and there, and we could be looking at 20-0 St. John's right now, and they're the number 1 team in the country. They're a dangerous squad that Rick Pitino has, and that was a gritty win for them to come back against Xavier and get the win there.
Yeah, Xavier's been giving teams a tough time. They beat Marquette and gave St. John's a game. We'll see how they do against UConn tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, that's how you win conference. Grind out those games, those tough games against teams that you may think you have an easy win over, but they still give you a tough game like Xavier.
So other action on Wednesday. While we're doing, can you pull up the game winner San Diego State hit against Air Force? Because that was another wild. We had some wild endings on Wednesday night.
There's another mid-major one I want to talk about.
The one you went to, or
no? That wasn't a come. It was in the SoCon though. I'm going to do a full SoCon rundown of the games that were good this week.
Real quick, while you're pulling up that San Diego State game winner, another result of note, especially for the bubble, was Northwestern 79, Indiana 70. Indiana got that big win at Ohio State, and they seemed like they had some momentum on their side. And back and forth game, and they just kind of lost it late. So that was – all right, I see you got this pulled up. But, yeah, the final on that one was San Diego State 76, Air Force 75. We had some wild endings on Wednesday night. Have you seen this yet?
What? This one? No.
I have not seen this one.
Oh, you haven't seen this one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, this was a crazy one. Oh, no, we're freezing.
Uh-oh.
Is it frozen?
It's lagging a little
bit. Try play it again.
Yeah, run it back.
It's like freeze framing.
There we go.
Still doing it? Okay.
There we go. We're good now.
That's
coast to coast at the buzzer for the win.
That's crazy.
That's got to suck if you're Air Force being 3-16 and coming that close to upsetting San Diego State.
Yeah, that would have been their
first. The record.
That would have been their first win in the Mountain West this year. Would have been a huge upset.
Yeah.
How do you not fall apart the team after that? You're winning, and all of a sudden you let the guy go coast to coast, and you just freaking sell it. Dude, I'd be checked out. I'll be honest. That'd be tough.
Dude, we had some wild endings on Wednesday night. It was one of the most fun nights of the season so far. Just crazy comebacks, crazy endings. We mentioned the St. John's Xavier game. That went to overtime. We had the SEC comebacks. We had that nightcap with San Diego State and Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of wild shit. We had Baylor had a comeback against Kansas State. That's one to note. Baylor won that game 70-62. Kind of a teacher versus
disciple.
Thank you. A teacher versus disciple matchup there with Scott Drew and Jerome Tang. But Kansas blew a pretty. I'm looking it up to see what the Kansas State was. What's the most they were up in that game? They were up. Let's see, 9. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever it was, Kansas State was leading a good chunk of that game, and that would have been a brutal loss for Baylor at home to take. But they came back, took care of business there against Kansas State.
VJ as Edgecombe.
That was a wild one. What'd you say?
I said VJ Edgecombe had 30 points for Baylor.
Oh, okay.
He was their leading scorer. I was going to mention about the Indiana game. Mike Woodson continues to fall apart.
Yeah, he's
big win for Northwest. Yeah, he'll probably be done. He'll probably retire at the end of the year. Retirement, quote, air quotes.
Indiana -6.
Oh yeah, fuck you. Indiana's upcoming schedule. This is what I wanted to highlight. Maryland home Maryland at Purdue, at Wisconsin, home Michigan, at Michigan State, home UCLA, home Purdue, home Penn State, at Washington, at Oregon, home Ohio State. That's the rest of their Big Ten slate. The easy ones are done.
That's
they could lose every single one of those games. They could lose every single one of those games I just mentioned. I wouldn't be surprised. That's not. Indiana will not like that. Their schedule from here on out is brutal. So they will not be a tournament team. They're still hanging around most bubbles right now, but I feel like by the time March comes around, the only thing we'll be talking about Indiana for is who's going to be the next coach there.
In 7 days, they go to Purdue.
Yeah.
And then after that, like
Maryland's good.
Wisconsin.
At Wisconsin, home Michigan, at Michigan State. Then UCLA, home Purdue.
Golly.
Yeah.
Then they go to Oregon.
So I think Indiana's in a position where they're probably going to lose their next 7-8 games.
Well, just as you brought it up, Jacob, who are they going to hire then if he does get fired?
I don't really know, to be honest. Let me think. There's a couple names.
They blew it with Dusty May because that would have been the layup hire.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
I mean, he started his career there under Bob Knight. He was a GA.
Yeah.
So,
I can't see him leaving Michigan after 1 year. Maybe if it was like 5 or 6 years.
He's not leaving Michigan.
Especially not in his first season. No way. For what, at best, is it's not even probably a lateral move at this point.
Yeah.
Because they'll have Michigan down. Indiana is right now.
They're definitely going to call Scott Drew. That's
he'll answer.
I mean, I'm sure he'll entertain it.
Does he have any ties to Indiana? Because I don't know anything about Scott Drew, to be honest.
Yeah, the Drew brother at Valparaiso, that's where they played ball.
Okay.
Scott Drew, Bryce Drew, and their dad was the coach at Valparaiso. So they're like.
No direct ties to Indiana University, or
not that I know of.
But that's probably going to be the first call they make. And I don't know. I mean, he turned down the Kentucky job last year, so it's probably going to take a lot to get him to move. But they're kind of having a down year this year. So,
Scott Drew played at Butler, and he was an assistant at Valpo under his dad, and with his dad.
Who has a sweet court? Indiana?
What? No, he was talking about Air Force, I think.
Oh, okay.
That was a cool court. Speaking about courts, the state thing.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. What's your feelings on every school feeling like they need to do the big state outline on their logo?
What do you mean?
Are you a fan of those courts?
We just show them a picture on the present, if you want to pull it up.
Would I have to save it? You don't know what I'm talking about?
Like their mid-court or their mid-court logo is like
Yeah,
a state.
they have a mid-court logo and then the outline with the state around it.
Like I would be like Tennessee, putting Tennessee at mid-court.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Show me what you're talking about.
You don't understand what? How do I do this?
I think just present, then maybe share screen.
I don't know. Just look up fucking goddamn, like pull up Penn State's basketball court right now,
West Virginia or something
or
like
what?
that.
Because Penn State's the one that there's what Penn State's looks fucking awful. And like for example, it looks like somebody took a pencil and drew Pennsylvania around the logo.
While he's googling that, we were debating the Georgia court. I liked it.
The Georgia court is terrible.
I'm sorry,
that's a bad take.
I like it.
You're gonna have to pull up the Georgia court next because
if it's a bad take, I'm still standing on
the
it.
thing is horrendous.
I think it's cool. But I like the vintage look of it.
It's like gray though. It's like
okay. I don't love the gray
dog under
logo in the middle.
I thought you were talking about the like. But to me, it's like all of it put together, like the dog around it and the gray. Like, it looks like
there's a better way to do that. Like I think the dog logo is mainly what I'm referring to.
Oh, like the outline of the state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like so exactly what I said.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. Sorry, I've been.
Thank you. I think it's cool.
Put the Penn State one on there real quick. Like I was watching that game on Monday, and like it just had me thinking, like, why does every school feel the need to do this now? And plus, I want to show you the Penn State one because you said you hadn't seen it.
Yeah,
look terrible. It
I've
was
seen
like
the West Virginia
look
one.
that great.
That one's good.
it looks like somebody
it's awkward. It's awkward. It's awkward with Penn State's logo because it's a round logo on like a square.
That's what I'm saying. Like everybody doesn't need to do it. Like
I'm okay with that.
Did you put the Penn State one up here?
I've not shared it yet. Let me find it and share it.
See, I think we agree a little more than we think because, like, yeah, not every team should do it.
Yeah.
Like the ones that it looks to for West Virginia.
Here we go. No, that's
just like the radio looks like.
No, it's there. It's just like
I can't see.
Like
it, really.
I mean, that goes to show. It's like you can barely see it around. Can you make that? Can you blow that up?
Let me visit website. Let me see. Can I open this?
Go to this one right here.
Yeah, that's a better one.
Bottom middle.
You kind of do the actual sea of like the court.
Bottom middle. Okay, they're right there.
Yeah, see, it looks like somebody took a pencil and like threw it around. Like it looks fucking awful.
I think
West Virginia's looks okay.
West Virginia's looks okay. Yeah, I agree.
On paper, it's a good idea. It's just like I don't think they're like. I guess their design wasn't good.
I mean, I was watching, I was thinking about it too because like I was watching fucking Bowling Green in Toledo earlier. Like Bowling Green's got this fucking big brown outline of Ohio behind their logo, and I'm like, okay, it's like, is this really necessary?
It just depends on the state and school, to be
honest. It
honest.
also feels like if you don't have the name like Ohio in your school, maybe you shouldn't have that.
Yeah.
Like, because we know Bowling Green's in Ohio, but some people don't. So they're like, okay, why is the Ohio logo here? You know what I mean?
Would you like it if we put the Alabama outline around ours?
Because, like, I feel like most people know where Auburn is in Alabama, but, like, it's not like the University of Alabama that has the name Alabama in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably not. But
Jacob, can you pull up the Georgia one too real quick?
We agree on this one.
I think this looks horrendous.
Jacob said the state was kind of cool, so he agrees with me.
I just think not everybody needs to do it.
That's fair. That's fine. So all right, Jacob, you're the tiebreaker for this because I think the Georgia court's kind of cool. Like the design's not great, but like the logo itself, like the dog, the actual mascot's cool.
For me, it's I'm more about the gray.
That's fair. See that logo, dude?
It looks cool with the vintage dog.
Like imagine if Auburn had a tiger on the court.
It fits with like the color gradient on the court.
Yeah, it's like almost gray.
Yeah, fix the gray, like make it a different color, and then we're cooking. You know what I mean?
Like there's a picture I took when I was there. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it.
I mean, as long as it's not ugly like Oregon's court was or used
That
to
is pretty
be.
bad.
Yeah, Oregon's is horrendous. All right, let's talk basketball. That's enough court talk.
That is
Okay.
Kind of. Anything
Wednesday?
else Wednesday?
I was gonna sort of talk about the SoCon.
Yeah. And I know you want to talk about the game you went to, so you got the score for that.
Yeah. The other two sort of big scores, I'd say, not non-SoCon. USC beat Nebraska in Big Ten play. Utah State continues to impress out in the Mountain West, of course. But now I'm going to talk about SoCon games. The first one, there was an upset Wednesday night. VMI, well, there's a couple upsets. VMI upset Furman.
The Keydets, baby.
Yeah, they're having a great year. They're actually a decent team. Like, they've sucked for who knows how long. And they were one of the worst Division I teams last year. Now they have a win over a team that was in the NCAA tournament 2 years ago. So, that's a big win for them. Speaking of comebacks, Mercer was down like 13 or 14 points on UNC Greensboro, and came back and won on 79-78. Let's see how close was it. I checked the score and I wasn't paying attention, and they came back and won with like 7 seconds left. Guess there was a foul with like 7 seconds left, and Mercer hit free throws to win the game. So that was another upset. The game I was at, ETSU rolled over Western Carolina. It was our first win over Western Carolina in 6 games, which is surprising because ETSU is a basketball-dominant school, and Western Carolina is not. The big thing from that game, Jaden Seymour absolutely dominated, set the Freedom Hall scoring record. He had 34 points and 13 rebounds. So he had some great dunks. Like he about brought down the house. So that was a good performance. He might be the SoCon Player of the Year this year. So
big one tomorrow. I know you guys have with Chattanooga.
Yeah, preview for that one. We'll kind of get into that. Sanford, that's a Thursday game. Sanford beat Chattanooga. Chattanooga was up at half by a lot, and Sanford came back and won. But yeah, tomorrow ETSU has the biggest. Is our rivalry game, and to move into first place in the conference. So it'll be a big, rowdy environment, I'd say.
Let's go Bucks, baby.
Yeah. I freaking hate Chattanooga with everything. There's a video. This is off topic, but there's a video back in like the 90s or 80s. A Chattanooga player punched the ETSU cheerleader.
What?
No, that's legit. I'll send it to y'all. Or I could pull it up if you want me to.
No, I don't think we should pull up a video of a dude punching a woman.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to present that on camera. He said, pull it up on the stream. This dude punching a cheerleader.
Yeah, it was like a big controversy.
Yeah, bro. It's
back in the day.
Violence against women up here on the stream.
It's kind of like one of those scenarios. I think like the Tennessee player punched the Alabama cheerleader a few years ago.
No, it's opposite. It was Jermaine Burton.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a cheerleader. It was just like a girl that was like storming the field after the game.
Yeah. It was kind of that scenario.
Yeah, fucking great guy, Jermaine Burton. He just got arrested for beating a woman again. So
yeah.
Who could have seen that coming? But, Nick Saban defended him, so he's a good guy.
But, yeah, we can move on to the Thursday games.
I guess only one real one to talk about on Thursday was Maryland 91, Illinois 70. Just kind of the perfect storm, but a big road win that Maryland needed for their tournament resume. But Maryland has a very talented roster. They haven't really lived up to it this year, but it was just kind of a nightmare setup for Illinois because they had a lot of injuries, and Maryland's a big team, and they were able to really just dominate the Illini and the pain in that game. So big win for Maryland. They needed that one bad, and that was another one where after Maryland won that game, it moved them back onto the right side of the bubble at most brackets you looked at. So they needed that one bad. Illinois had injuries. It set up well, and the Terps took care of business. So what do you got on that one?
That's a big win. Shout out Jacoby Gillespie and Derek Queen. When I turned it on, he was playing pretty good. Julian Reese too. Maryland is a good team. They getting
one of the most. If you look at like the talent rankings, they have like a top 15 roster in the sport.
They're kind of young overall. I'd say outside of their seniors, two of their seniors, but they're just kind of a younger team. One thing, I'm not a big believer in Illinois, to be completely honest. I just don't think they have a go-to guy when it comes down the stretch. Jakachunas. Jakachunas.
I worked on that last week.
Yeah.
Picking the draft.
He's good,
Illinois
but he's not really I wouldn't say he's like a go-to option if it comes down to it.
And he kind of had to be last night because they had all those injuries and they just got dominated in the paint and that. I'm pulling it up now. I mean, they got Julian Reese had 17 rebounds. Maryland was really able to get inside the paint and tear them up in that game. Maryland scored 90 points, only hit 3 3-pointers. So that was really the story of that game. That like Illinois was banged up inside and couldn't get the stops they needed. Maryland was really able to take advantage of that. I mean, that game, I don't really hold that one too much against Illinois. I just think all the injuries coming in and stuff it was a bad setup for them. But I mean, I still think Illinois is a good team.
Yeah, I mean, I think Illinois, they're a solid tournament team. I just don't think they're a Big Ten title contender, if I had to say. They're kind of like more mid-pack at this point.
Hold it down real quick. Talk about your Underwood or something. I got to
go. But shout out Jacoby Gillespie, Greenville, Tennessee native. He's been playing pretty good for Maryland. Illinois, I mean, they're up and down. Also, screw Draven Gibbs-Lawhorn, even though he's had a good run here as of late. What a weird family. Yeah, just a weird family all around. Yes, that is shots fired at his mom for being weird on Twitter.
Hold on, I'm looking for my stats.
Let's see.
All right.
You got to have the Zins.
Yeah. All right. Big win for Maryland. They needed that one for the resume. That's a huge road win for them. So, like I said, that's one that's going to really hold them up come March if they're close to the bubble.
While you were gone, I was taking some shots at Draven Gibbs-Lawhorn.
What happened?
Oh, there's history. Purdue fans have beef with him and his family.
What's the history?
His mom is literally insane.
What?
Like she like blocked a bunch of people. Well, she's like we're like 90% sure she's like a crackhead. She tweets like she tweeted like death threats to Purdue's beat writer.
Allegedly.
Oh, this is like a real.
Don't get Spectator Media sued tonight, please.
Okay.
Allegedly a crackhead.
Yeah. Anyway, she tweeted like death threats towards Purdue's beat writer.
What?
Like, no, that's not even a joke. Like she's like said she she hopes he dies or something. Like hopes he died. He like legit he had like a tumor.
Alleged.
Wait, so the writer had a tumor and she
Yeah.
tweeted death threats to him?
Yeah, yes.
What
like related to that.
We got Big Ten drama.
Yeah.
When did this happen?
Also, that player was formerly committed to, or Draven Gibbs Lawhorn was formerly committed to Purdue and went to Illinois.
All right. We don't need Jacob to throw out any more drug addict accusations and get us sued.
Can't have that.
I mean,
I mean.
I'll find the links later.
He's doubling down.
Multiple sources.
Stop.
All right, let's see. Thursday night, nothing else. Memphis got a win against Wichita State. Ugly one. They got it done. They're just going to keep going in the American, I imagine. Not much to talk about there. Yeah, I mean, a lot of mid-major action Thursday night. Nothing else huge of note. I don't know. Oh, Omaha. Shout out Omaha in the Big West. Undefeated. They got a big win against St. Thomas last night. So I'm just scrolling through the slate, give them a quick shout out. St. Mary's continues to just they beat the fuck out of Sam. They're beating the fuck out of everybody. They're doing it like that. That's what you need.
They're a better team than they were last year. I think they're a better team than they were last year. I said I think they're a better team than they were last year.
Yeah, I mean they lost Mahaney, but they haven't missed a step. And then UC Riverside got a big win in overtime against UC Irvine. That was one to mention. UC Irvine's been a good team, mid-major that's kind of holding on to pretty good computer numbers. But yeah, they slipped up last night against UC Riverside. So, and that's about it for yesterday. And then tonight, Villanova got a big win against Marquette, or Marquette got a big win against Villanova, 87-74. And then, yeah, I'll kind of give you the floor to talk about Purdue, Michigan, but that was big bounce back for Purdue. Kind of a perfect spot for them to bounce. Like, they don't lose at Mackey a lot, so you knew they were going to be pissed off and want to take care of business tonight, and they absolutely took it to Michigan.
Yeah, that was a surprising win that we won by that much. We just came out from the opening tip and just pressed the issue. Michigan turned the ball over like 5 times in like the first 3 minutes of the game, and that just set the pace. Braden Smith was on. Like,
yeah, Braden Smith almost had a triple-double.
Yeah, he almost did, and he probably would have if he didn't take the gas off the brake, or the foot off the gas towards the end of the game.
Take the gas off the brakes.
Yeah. It's been a long day for me. We kind of did it without TKR for a lot of the first half because he got 2 pretty quick fouls. We just were rolling. We were 9 of 24. Yeah, 9 of 24 from 3 for the game. Michigan, they just didn't run a normal offense. They just contested like 40-foot 3-point shots, like way outside the paint. They didn't play through Golden most of the first half. He kind of got his towards the end of the game, but they didn't. They just kind of just took the first shot they saw, and Purdue just turned them over. The big thing for Michigan was their turnovers. They had 22 turnovers to Purdue's 6. So it was never a game. Just beautiful basketball to watch from Purdue in the first half. Mackey was rocking from the tip. CJ Cox hit a 3, and it was pretty much over from there to go up 13-2 early. Just a great game all around. Bounce back after Ohio State. I hope to see that again next week against Indiana. But yeah, just a surprising game in the Big Ten race. I don't know if Michigan is for real or not. Vlad Golden is a good player, but I don't think that's going to be enough to carry them. I don't think Michigan's guards are all that great, if we're honest. I just don't think this is the team for Dusty May to carry Michigan to the Big Ten title.
Yeah, big win for Purdue. But all right, I said we were going to get to this tonight. I do want to throw this out because we haven't talked since we started doing this again. We haven't talked about Coach of the Year at all yet.
Mm-hmm.
But am I putting you on the spot too much if I ask for your top 5 for Coach of the Year right now? He froze.
I'm going to look up.
Oh, there you are. You're back. Because it's an interesting battle right now where, like, Pearl and Shire are definitely the favorites, probably the best 2 teams in the country. Like, obviously, Auburn's the best team in the country and what Bruce Pearl has done at Auburn, and then John Shire with a very young team, full of freshmen. They're one of the best teams in the country. So they're kind of the 2 favorites. But under the radar, obviously, I mentioned Pat Kelsey earlier. I think Pat Kelsey would have to be up, like how quick he's turned things around there at Louisville. I'd put Penny Hardaway in the mix with Memphis this year. I mean, they had coaches quitting, getting fired, whatever happened like a week before the season started, and players leaving. It was a mess going into the season at Memphis, and there wasn't a lot of hope. And the way Penny's been able to hold the fort down and keep Memphis going this year, I'd have to imagine Penny would have to be up there. So, I mean, I'll do mine first and give you a minute. And but my ballot right now would probably be Pearl, Kelsey, Shire, Penny Hardaway, and DeVries would probably be at West Virginia. Would be my top 5 right now if I had to give it. But, yeah, there's a lot of I think I mentioned DeVries there as my 5. Like, I think he would have to be in the mix. Kind of fell down a little bit after their loss to Arizona State earlier this week. But big turnaround there at West Virginia and what he inherited, and doing that all without his best player. A lot to be said about that. So, yeah, I'd probably go, like I said, Pearl, Kelsey, Shire, Hardaway, DeVries would probably be my top 5.
I do have one question. Do they typically give it to whoever's the top coach or just whoever's had the biggest turnaround?
It just depends on the year. I mean, I can pull up the past winners, like, to kind of give you reference.
Because, like, I'd go for coach of the year, I'd say, like, I'd go with guys that weren't expected to do as much, didn't have that much talent, but
so Dan Hurley won it last year. Obviously, UConn was dominant, and they were coming off a national championship. But then, like the 2 years before that, it was 2022, 2023 was Jerome Tang at Kansas State. Then the year before that was Ed Cooley at Providence. Mark Few was the year before that when they went undefeated at Gonzaga. The COVID year, the tournament that didn't happen, was Anthony Grant in Dayton. So you see, like, there's kind of like a variety in there between like just like the best team or like the best turnaround. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess give me, let's see. We'll put Bruce Pearl up there. I'll say probably Todd Golden will be up there. Tom Izzo. Darian DeVries, and give me an under the radar one with Randy Bennett at St. Mary's.
Let's see that. You got any? You don't have to give a list if you don't want, but
I mean, I don't have a list like you guys do because you guys watch a lot more college basketball than I do. But obviously, you know who my answer is going to be for who's deserving of Coach of the Year. It's Bruce Pearl. And it's not even because of what he's done all year. It's mainly the last 3 weeks. We were without Broome, and still we went 3-0 on the road at South Carolina. We handled business against number 15 Mississippi State at home, and we won a top 25 game against Georgia without our best player. Like, whenever I remember when Broome got hurt, I was talking to Travis, and I was like, yeah, if we go 1-2 in that stretch, that's probably good enough to keep us in the midst for SEC. I didn't think there was any reality we go 3-0 without our best player on the road twice.
Mm-hmm.
No. So, I mean, like, when you factor that in, when Broome was the, like, heavy favorite for the player of the year, and you lose him, you think there'd be a step down. But no, there wouldn't. And that goes to prove, like, the team that Bruce has built this year is not just one player. It's a deep squad he's built. And if he's not been coach of the year, he has an SEC team 17-1, 5-0 in conference play.
Yeah.
In the best conference in America. If that's not what coach of the year is, I don't know what it is. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with Bruce Pearl being number one right now. Yeah, but yeah, most lists you look at are going to have Pearl and Shire as 1-2. And then, yeah, I definitely, like I said, Pat Kelsey, Penny Hardaway, and DeVries are probably the other three I'd put in my top 5.
Pat Kelsey.
Penny Hardaway story is insane. Like, I don't feel like he's getting enough like mention in those conversations where they're happening and podcasts I've listened to and stuff I've read and whatever. The fact they had assistants quitting and players leaving a week before the season, and him keeping the ship going there is super impressive. So, but yeah, so we're all three saying Bruce Pearl right now. It sounds like
probably, since they're the best team this year. Kind of just like, I mean, typically that's what you see. Either someone that's 30 win. You know, Auburn will be above 30 wins this year, most likely. Typically that's who they go with for coach of the year. So I was going to say Pat Kelsey. It just depends on how Louisville finishes the year. He would be up there too.
Louisville has a very favorable SEC or ACC schedule from here on out, and that's going to work to their benefit.
Because he had the biggest turnaround, honestly, because Louisville has just been god-awful under Kenny Payne, probably since with the whole Chris Mack stuff, since Pitino left, or Pitino got canned.
Kelsey has to be in the mix because he just inherited such a disaster there, and the way he's turned. I don't think anybody expected them to turn it around this quickly year one, and they've won 9 games in a row. So he deserves a lot of props there.
He really does.
All right, you got anything else for tonight? Oh, one more game. Not even just the game, but team I wanted to mention is St. Bonaventure lost again tonight, and they've fallen off the wagon. They were on fire there for a while, and that's 3 losses in a row for them now.
They lost to George Mason the other night, and I guess they lost again to VCU.
Yeah, and they lost to Duquesne last week.
Mm-hmm. Not sure who's ahead. Is VCU number 1 in the A-10? Yeah, they're tied for first with George Mason.
Yeah, VCU, Mason, and St. Louis are the top 3 there, I believe. But yeah, I guess you got anything else to add on the week? Any games I didn't mention that you wanted to talk about or anything, or you want to look forward to tomorrow?
We can just look forward to tomorrow.
All right. Let's see. Let's start in the morning. Going through tomorrow's slate, we'll hire the one. Ooh, always a good, not good teams, but 11:30 tomorrow. I guess like the first game of note for the day is Ed Cooley goes back into Providence. So that's always a fun environment when that happens. I'm sure the chorus of boos will be out for him. So that's one to mention. Let's see. Michigan State goes on the road to Rutgers.
It's actually at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, in that case, I feel a lot better about Michigan State, being it's not a true road environment.
honestly think that'll help Rutgers against Michigan State. That'll be my big upset pick of the day. Rutgers
You're
over
taking
Michigan.
Rutgers outright? We'll see. I mean, they got the talent to do it, but
I feel like Michigan State's been skirting by. I mean, they're a great team, but they just haven't had their one slip up in Big Ten play yet.
Michigan State's a 6-point favorite there.
Yeah.
He's saying he's taking Rutgers outright. Yeah. It's at the Garden. Did not know it was at the Garden until he pointed it out to me.
Still, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Rutgers could cover that 6, but I'll stick with Michigan State to win. Iowa State's got a tough one on the road at Arizona State. That's going to be a big Arizona State's a 9.5-point dog at home. I think they'll be live in that game. They're a team fighting on the bubble right now. So they're going to look to go on the road and at home and get a huge win against Iowa State, one of the best teams in the country. So that's one to note. Let's see. What else we got? Yeah, I'm trying to just go through chronologically. Kentucky's got a tricky one on the road at Vanderbilt. So we'll see what happens there. I'm sure take the over in that one. Probably be a high scoring affair. Texas A&M and Texas play again. Second time they played this year.
I would just soon picks.
I'm just going through the games, and you can jump in.
I got you.
If you got Georgia goes on the road at Florida. It's a big rivalry. Florida's going to look for a little bit better of a performance than what they had against South Carolina. Georgia's on a skid, so that's 3 in a row for Georgia after they got ranked in the top 25 that they've lost. So they're desperately going to be looking for a win there.
Plus rivalry game.
Yeah. Florida's a 10.5-point favorite in that one. Let's see. Oregon's got a tricky one on the road at Minnesota.
Only a 4.5-point favorite.
Yeah. That's good. Minnesota's not good, but that's a weird road trip with the big going dynamics.
The Barn is I don't know. It's just kind of one of those spooky arenas, kind of like Rutgers.
Let's see. You mentioned Chattanooga, ETSU.
Yeah.
Big one there.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple big ones. Wofford, Sanford too, and yeah, that's the other big one in the SoCon tomorrow. But
Duke's got a tricky one on the road at Wake.
I was just about to bring that up.
Remember, Kyle Filipowski almost lost his life there last year.
Oh, yeah.
Those two teams
that was ridiculous. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So hopefully Cooper Flagg is safe if Wake Forest wins tomorrow and we don't have another near-death experience.
Wake's won their last 5 games, 3 out of 5 being at home.
Wake's going to be tough there.
I will be tuning into that one on my phone, just following it.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, Kyle. After last year's near-death experience, I'm sure they're gonna upset. Kyle Filipowski almost died. Of course, he missed 0 games, but almost lost his life. My God, Jay Billis was acting like. So after that, it was, man.
I'm not a big
time that was.
I'm not a big Jay Billis guy. I will say that right now.
Just some food for thought. Wake Forest is 13-1 at home this year. Only lost 1, and then lost to Texas A&M. No, excuse me, lost to Florida.
That's a tough barn.
Yeah.
We got top 25 game in the SEC. Ole Miss travels on the road to Missouri. So that'll be a good one. Let's see. What else we got? Houston goes on the road to Kansas. That's probably one of the 2 big games of the day. Kansas, the rare 2-point dog at Fog Allen. Don't see that a lot. So that'll be an interesting one.
Oh, that'll be a good game.
Yeah,
for sure.
Anytime Kansas is catching points at Fog Allen, it's going to be something to monitor. So we'll see. Houston's still looking for their first big win of the year. So we'll see if they can get it.
I mean, they barely beat UCF.
Yeah.
Like, that was a 1-point win. Like,
they squeaked that
yeah.
one. UConn goes on the road to Xavier. That'll be a tricky one. Xavier's been playing better. Sure, that crowd will be pumped up. UConn's looked wobbly. Xavier's actually a 1.5-point favorite there. I'm sure you're taking Xavier.
How about the Cintas Center?
Dude, yeah.
Shout out to Cintas Center.
They're going to be rocking out there in Cincinnati tomorrow.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that'll be a tricky one on the road for UConn.
Especially when UConn's kind of their how one-dimensional their offense has kind of been recently.
We mentioned St. Mary's. They've been kicking the shit out of teams. They go on the road to Pullman to play Washington State tomorrow. So not a great Washington State team, but will be interesting to see the way St. Mary's has just been dog-walking teams if they can go on the road versus some decent competition and continue to do the same. So that's a big one. LSU goes on the road to Bama. Don't imagine Bama's going to have any problems there.
I mean, yeah, they're a 17-point favorite.
Yeah. So, yeah, Bama should be safe there. Obviously, big game of the day, college game day, Auburn, Tennessee. Auburn's a 5-point favorite. As of now, Janai Broome is officially questionable for tomorrow, so we'll see if he can make a return or not. What you got on that one?
I think Auburn's going to win over Tennessee, just with how one-dimensional Tennessee's offense is. I don't think they move the ball quite as well as Auburn. So
then just San Diego State goes on the road to Nevada. That should be a fun nightcap in the Mountain West. And then bubble game to watch because Cincinnati's hanging around the bubble, but they got a tough one on the road at BYU tomorrow. So that's going to be – BYU's not a tournament team, but that's going to be – bless you. They still got good numbers. So that's going to be if Cincinnati can win that one, that's going to be a big win for them for their tournament resume because it'll still be a quality road win in quad one for them. So
I know we forgot to mention BYU. Didn't BYU's coach and Colorado's coach Tad Boyle go at it?
Yeah, they got a little early in the game. Yeah, they got a little hits this week. Yeah, that was pretty entertaining when that happened. I missed when I was scrolling through the slate. Oklahoma goes to Arkansas, so we'll see if Cal can start stringing some wins together. Other than that, I don't know. Did I miss anything for tomorrow that you're looking at?
Not really.
Yeah, I'm doing one more scroll through, make sure I'm good there. But I think that about covered everything. But so you already said you're taking Rutgers to upset Michigan State. That's your big upset pick of the day tomorrow. I think Wake's going to beat Duke. That'd be mine. I'll take Wake for the upset. I think they'll storm the floor again.
I think that's a high probability of happening, too. Just based on look at.
Got AJ.
I think that's who he's talking about.
Yeah, good player. I mean, it's kind of the days of just a freshman coming in college basketball and taking over the sport wherever. Because it's like you see it with Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey this year. Like they went to Rutgers and weren't really a fit together, and they're not a great team. So at all.
Yeah, Rutgers just lacks a good big man. I know they had one, but he went to Alabama, so they didn't really have any. They don't really have any support around them. All their good pieces left.
Is that what this is?
Just you got a big upset for tomorrow.
I don't know if this qualifies as a big upset, But there's a team we were talking about earlier that was always there at the end. I think South Carolina gets it done tomorrow. I think they finally get one.
All right.
Because they've been close every single time. I think they get one tomorrow. I think they get one. Just a gut feeling.
If you're a real junkie listening to this, maybe that can be our official podcast Hungry Dog Money Line Parlay. You go Wake Forest money line,
South Carolina,
Rutgers money line, South Carolina money line.
Why not? I might do that tomorrow.
Dude, you
Hit
get
the
some
big
good
box.
Yeah. I'm going to look right now, see what the odds would be. I'm curious.
Yeah, put it together.
Yeah, I got it.
See how quick you can do it. We'll see what kind of odds, and that'll be our official podcast.
It's got to be underdogs though.
Yeah.
They're not available yet. The parlays for college hoops.
Oh shit.
Maybe I do this though.
Hold on, I can just go to FanDuel and put it in, even though I can't bet it.
Yeah, mine doesn't work, so I don't know why.
All right, South Carolina plus 220.
Yep.
All right, we'll put that in.
Yep.
Wake plus 540. Oh, that didn't work. Hold up. We'll see what the odds are here.
These are money lines, by the way, not spreads. Just straight up winners.
So if all three of us are as smart as we think, if you for some reason believe in us, $10 parlay wins $600.
That'd be kind of
if
nuts.
those three happens.
I ride that tomorrow just for fun.
I might have to throw that one.
Yeah, I might have to screenshot that so I don't forget what the three teams were.
Yeah, South Carolina, Wake Forest, Rutgers.
Might ride that. I like that.
But yeah, we can call it a show. Congrats to the Boilers on the big win tonight. Go Bucks tomorrow. Know you guys are hyped up for that one.
Yeah.
You guys got any parting shots before we call it a night?
War Damn Eagle. That's it.
Yep, War Damn. College game day in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Boiler up and go Bucks.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate you. Shout out to VCU, Little Rock, North Texas, St. Peter's, and FDU.
What a list.
Oh, I see what he did there. Okay. I see what he did.
Yeah, they're just trying to make me mad.
Just all of Purdue's worst enemies.
Yeah, all the random schools in the middle, just out of nowhere.
You got anything?
I do not. Boiler up and go Bucks.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to go Spectator Media, YouTube, like this, subscribe, share the stream, retweet, whatever. Help us get it out there. We'll be back Sunday night for another recap show, probably after. What's the night game? Is it AFC or NFC? AFC's the night game, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so.
I had to put up my football brain for a second. College basketball.
Yeah. So post Chiefs Bills, we'll be back on here live. I believe Matt will be with us Sunday, so I'll confirm that with him. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate the support and enjoy the games tomorrow.
Thank you. Good night.
See you, Jacob.